Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich and his parents moved from Copenhagen, Denmark to California in 1980, shortly before Metallica were formed.
There's a lot of people in Denmark that are, you can tell in the papers and stuff, I think they're proud that, you see, Denmark, because of the way the system is set up and the whole social structure and so on, there's not a lot of people in Denmark that are like really sort of hungry, really gung-ho, really, I think that it's great that I have the cultural thing and so on from Denmark, but going to America in 1980 really, in America people are much more hungry, much more want to do something with their lives. So in Denmark there's not a lot of people that really sort of just do stuff,
Metallica released their first album, Kill at Will, in 1983. They've released 5 albums altogether.
I think the 4 of us are more comfortable with each of our own personalities. We have 4 guys with very, very different personalities, and I think we're using that as a plus. We're deriving all that into our music and stuff, and I think that the fact that we've passed that hurdle successfully means that hopefully we'll be around for another, couple of 100 years.
Drummer Lars Ulrich and guitarist James Hetfield do most of the interviews and seem to be the leaders of the band.
Lars and I are probably a little more into the band than the other two. This is a fair thing to say. When it comes down to the bigger decisions, Lars and I will discuss them.
Metallica's 5th album, Metallica, has sold almost 10 million copies worldwide, bringing the band instant fame.
Just a lot of people wanting your time, and there's not enough for you to kind of go around, and you don't, especially some of us are kind of more private than your regular person, I would imagine. And everyone wants something from you. That kind of bugs me sometimes.
The band played at the AC/DC Monsters of Rock Festival in Russia last year.
It's not the most colorful place. Flying into the place, we didn't see a whole lot of swimming pools. It was very low-key, but when we met some of the fans and their broken English, I couldn't believe that they knew some English, and they were hugging us and kissing us, and I was like, wait a minute, I like women, no. But they were.
Well, I'll leave all the silly answers out of that one. The serious one would probably be that, or the 2 ones would probably be that I've realized, I think when I was about 16 or 17, that I wasn't actually good enough to really make it all the way in tennis. And also, what happens when you're like a young kid trying to, become a professional tennis player, when you hit about 15, 16, that's where most of the guys drop off, because you have to be so disciplined and you have to just focus so much, and you can't have any kind of social activities or anything. And I was like 15, 16, and started drinking beer and listening to, heavy metal and all this kind of stuff like I'd been doing.
And look what it did to you.
See, it just went straight downhill. But basically I realized that the amount of discipline and attention that you had to pay to do the tennis thing just really wasn't worth it. And in rock and roll, you can be a little looser around the edges about disciplining yourself and your bodies and giving it a bit of this, So it, I think I did the right thing,
Okay, there you go, Sandra. And very quickly, final question for Lars before we head off down to the gig is, will Metallica ever release a live album? Lots of people want to know that, including me.
You mean there's somebody out there who doesn't have one of them? There's about 250 Metallica bootlegs out there, I think. I think that the whole thing with live albums and all that, kind of when video came and knocked on the door, it was like the great live albums. If you think back to the 70s, Made in Japan, Strangers in the Night, and Unleashed in the East and all those things. I mean, just, I don't know, it's just not the same anymore. It's like you put out a live, it's like now the emphasis is on the live video, and then some bands accompany it with a live album, but it's like the live video is like the main thing. So actually, at the moment, we filmed 2 nights in San Diego on this tour, and we filmed 2 nights in Seattle on the 89 tour, and so we're sitting on all this stuff that we're probably going to do some kind of video like next year. There's a 4-hour video coming out in 2 weeks, and then probably in about a year from now we'll probably do like another 4-hour video that will be like the longest live video that anybody's ever heard of, which will be like everything from San Diego this year, like 3 hours, and then probably an hour's worth of the material that we didn't play in San Diego from the Seattle shows in '89. Did you get that?
Yes.
And so they look for that probably next year, but whether there's going to be a quote-unquote, you know,
live
album or
album,
CD or
right.
DCC or any of that stuff with it, who
We
knows,
shall
too
have to
early,
wait
but
and
we'll
see.
keep you posted.
Okay, absolutely. All right, well, it's time for Lars and co to head off down to the gig. We're going to be joining them. That's going to happen after the break, and also Lars is going to give us a tour of the Snake Pit, and we're going to hang out in the dressing room, take you into the dressing room. So lots to come up on the Headbangers Ball. We are going to take a break
Help
now,
me.
and when we come back after that break, we'll be heading off on down to the show. So join us there, and we'll see you later. It's Lars will be back later on.
All right. See ya.
Back with the Headbangersball Metallica special from Birmingham, and we're bringing you a day in the life of Metallica. It's about 6:30 in the evening, and it's time for us to travel down to the gig with the band. So if you want to follow me, get on the bus. Here we go. Okay, the whole band is here actually. James, as we have said earlier, is not feeling very well, so we'll say goodbye to James. Lars is here, everybody else is here.
Self.
So, Lars, can we ask you a few more questions sent in by viewers? Is that all right?
I want to answer the other guys, the ones that were sent in for the other guys.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Do you like giving guitar lessons? Do you feel like you're a guitar hero?
Absolutely.
Why are you?
I do this thing. I do this where I play guitar with my butt.
Okay, yes, I can tell it's getting close to gig time.
Right.
We're going to
Here,
set
want one of
off
these?
on
Want
the
one of
way,
these?
yeah. What is it? It's not a Victory V or something, is it?
No, it's like a licorice thing.
Right, okay.
Good drug.
So lots of viewers, they want to know what is happening with your fan club.
What is happening with our fan club? Well, what happened was that the address that was printed on the Justice album, that guy kind of took off with like all the letters, all the money, everything, and he hasn't been heard from since. You know, you can blame us for hiring the wrong people, but we're in the process right now of trying to set up a new one, and we have some people who we trust. Excuse me. We have some people. Yeah, we have some people that we trust. We have some people who we trust very much, who's going to try and take charge of it and so on, and hopefully we can get that whole thing set up and running really soon.
And you're going to be very involved in that?
As involved as, yeah, you know, try and give updates, and I mean, we're not going to sit and deal with it 24 hours a day, but we'll be as involved as we can and as time allows.
Cool, okay. Fearless Reader from London, she says, looking back, what does Master of Puppets mean to you nowadays, and how big a part does it play in portraying your image?
What image? What is Master of Puppets? I mean, what does it mean? It means album number 3. It brings back a lot of memories of hanging out in Copenhagen and drinking a lot of beers, and we spent like 5 months recording it back in '85. It's got some good songs. Great song on there. I just heard the other day actually on the radio, The Thing That Should Not Be.
Kicks
So we
ass.
have played live for a couple of years.
A motherfucker.
These guys can't tune their guitars down that low anymore.
Okay, well, actually the bus has got to leave now, and we're being told to get off the bus. So I shall say goodbye to you guys. See you down at the Birmingham NEC. Thank you very much, Mr. Bus Driver.
Long.
And,
About 8 years. Just having dinner, by the way. Some friends of mine. Would you like to introduce yourselves, guys? These are all the trucking corps,
right.
without which we wouldn't travel anywhere. This is Andy here. Behind you, would you like to just turn the camera that way?
That's Andy. How many? There you go. That's Andy. How many people are on the tour? You know, working behind the scenes.
We have about 50 crew, I believe. 50 crew, yeah. Plus these scummy type truck drivers here, which of course they'll kill me later for.
Now, from your point of view, how difficult is it to do the sound with this new diamond-shaped stage? Does it pose any more difficult problems?
Slightly, only in the fact that you have people everywhere, and you have to cover it all around the place. Oh,
that was a bean.
did you see that little bit of beam came over from the trucking core the other side of the room? As to the sound problem, not a real problem. We kind of dealt with it in the early days, so we're sort of cruising along quite comfortably now. It's fine.
So, what's on the menu tonight?
I've just had a prawn cocktail, actually. I'm just going to have barbecue chicken. Are we referring to food, or are we talking about the band?
There's a bean.
The bean, yeah, okay.
Second best to Lars.
How long?
About 4.5 years. Middle of 88.
Okay, and right now we are, as I said, under the stage. This is all Kirk's equipment here.
James here. This is where James lives when he's down here, when there's other stuff going on he doesn't need to be up in. Andy here tuning his guitars, and we can't get over here, I don't think, but Lars lives here as well, and then Kirk is over the back, and over to the left here we have Jason.
It's a great atmosphere down here. Actually, I'm going to show you something which we're probably not allowed to show you, but the whole of the ceiling is plastered with pictures of scantily clad young ladies. So there you go. That's what Metallica... young ladies. So let's move on a bit, actually. You're going to take us down to the snake pit. So if you want to...
Where Lars's kit belongs.
And it moves about a bit, does it?
Well, who told you that?
We mustn't give all the secrets away before the show. Let's go to the snake pit now. Okay, we're heading. Are you still okay? All right, we're heading up to the famous snake pit now, and this is actually the diamonds in the centre of the stage. So, how many people can fit in here?
Well, it varies, but for the UK and Europe, basically 85 people.
85.
Just because of the health and the fire rules here in Europe, they're a bit more stricter than America.
And what's the sound like when you're actually in the middle of the
You
stage?
can see hanging above us here, we've got 2 monitors here which give a complete mix of what's going on out front, and there's a small monitor here to see what's going on the video screens out front.
So how did you get into the snake pit?
Oh, friends.
Friends of friends, there you go, that's how you get in there. Let's carry on. Should we you take us up onto the stage?
Absolutely, let's go up
Okay.
stage. Then I get finished about 5 o'clock, so we're looking at 9 hours to get the whole thing ready.
And then take it all down and move on to the next venue.
It's always a bit quicker going out, about 2.5, 3 hours on the way out and then on to the next venue. That's correct.
Okay, well, let's go down onto the stage a bit more. Come on. Let's see some of the Metallica fans. Okay, those... It's crazy up here. Where's Ian gone? So, Ian, what else can you tell us about this?
Well, basically you can see this is just a diamond shape here, and in the middle we've got the snake pit. Obviously, it's I don't want to tell you too much about it to give away, but basically it's a unique shape. As you can see, we have all these things here with special effects, and it's a very unique show, very unusual.
Certainly is.
Let's
Well,
not
thank
give anything
you.
away too quick.
We want you to play the real thing, so make a VHS tape of your band playing AC/DC's Highway to Hell. Send it. Yo, Headbangersball rocking backstage at the Birmingham NEC with Metallica, and this says tuning and attitude, and that's exactly what is going on backstage. There's Kirk, he's warming up for tonight's show, and we are not going to interrupt him because I think we're going to go and find Lars again. And if we go in here, if you'd like to follow me, Lars is actually working out the set list for tonight's show, and we're following him around the whole day, and it's getting a bit much now, isn't it? Do you change the set sort of nearly every night then?
Well, what we do is, look, it's a Metallica set list. what we try to do is, this is our second night in Birmingham, and whenever we have like kind of an A set that's the main, we feel is the best set, so we play that on all the places where we have just one night. But all the places where we have two shows, we always try and change it around the second night. But we're trying to move some things around here that's giving me a hell of a headache, because we've been opening with Enter Sandman for most of the tour. For the last couple nights, as you can see, we've moved Sandman down till the end. Why am I showing you this when we still have 6 weeks to go in Europe?
You're giving too many secrets away.
But, you know, so I'm just trying to, like, work something different out for Birmingham. And it's kind of annoying me a little bit right now. So.
Okay, well, we've got some more viewers' questions for you. David and Colin Mead, again from Ireland, want to know, why do you always use the good, the bad and the ugly as your intro tape, and who came up with the idea?
That credit goes to Johnny Z. Johnny Zazula is his name. He was our first manager, and why do we always use that? It's a good question. I'm not sure I have the answer to that. It just, you know, we started doing that in like '83, and it felt right, and it's pretty much been there ever since. It's funny because somebody else asked me about that the other day, and I answered that maybe it would go into retirement after this tour. I don't know why I said that, but I did. But it's really moody, and it's very epic-y. Yeah, and it felt right, so there it is. It signals that we're on our merry way.
I know, I remember you walking to the stage at Donington, and that music like sort of put hairs on the hairs up on your back of your neck, really. It was brilliant.
Yeah, well, like we said, it's very moody, and it kind of builds really well, and it's also somebody, the guy who did it, you know, Morricone, is somebody who we really respect as a kind of a musician and so on. He did all the soundtracks for Fistful of Dollars and Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and all those spaghetti westerns. It's really interesting music.
Okay. Well, one more quick question before we let you get on with preparing for tonight's show. I don't think this is actually a very good question to ask you when you're going out on stage, but Alan and Chris Davies of Bedford would like to know, would any band members consider solo projects or producing other artists?
Well, I think as you grow a little older and your taste in music kind of, you all expand and you all get into different things and stuff. I mean, I've already done a project. I did that, you know, New Wave of British Heavy Metal album a couple of years. You know, a few other people. You know, I've been asked to do a lot of producing. I've had to turn it all down because obviously my main priority is Metallica. Kirk has guested on a few things. You know, James has done a little bit of singing on some Danzig records and stuff. But in terms of fully fledged solo albums and everything that entails, you know, kind of like what Bruce Dickinson did or whatever, at the moment, at least to my knowledge, nobody really has any particular plans about it. I can tell you that I'm not interested in doing anything in our time off other than just taking, you know, when we're done next May. Next May, that sounds really
long rest.
Yeah, long ways away. But next May when we're done, we're going to take about a year off. And in that year, just going to try and remember how to breathe again, just relax and take it easy. But again, this is coming from the man who gets, you know, I get very restless in a couple of weeks. And, you know, if somebody offers me a good production job or something, who knows? But as we're speaking right now, in early November 1992, see, I already want to get the tour done. That's why I think it's May already. There's no plans for anything like that. So.
All right, Lars, thanks very much for taking time out to talk to us while you're sorting out the set list for tonight's show. It's total chaos here, and we're going to be back with more from Metallica backstage very last year, and it's showtime right now.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, but I have to go somewhere right now.
So, good luck in Europe, and thanks very much to Kirk for talking to us. Okay, that's Kirk going to the stage first. The Metallica film is just playing out. Yeah, this is Metallica's last show in Great Britain. They're coming over to Europe next week. You're going to see the dates at the end of the show. And if I just step back a little bit, you can see that James is walking into the arena, and there's Jason going crazy. And I hope James is feeling a little bit better because he wasn't very well. And there goes Lars. Bye, Lars!
This way!
Oh dear, it's crazy. Okay, right now we're reaching the end of our special edition of the Headbangersball with Metallica. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've really enjoyed being here, and let me recommend their live performance to you. It's really, really excellent. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly in the background. That's the intro tape. I'm going to say goodbye. I'll see you with Extreme from Boston next week, and we're going to finish the show on a really high point. We're going to see Metallica live on stage. Bye-bye from the Birmingham NEC.